What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bay Rats Buoys. I'm your host, Captain Gaige. This is episode 79, brought to you in part by Seato Huntington. Are you a member? Visit Seato.com. And J&M Seafood of East Northport and East Setauket. Check them out. And also, Volpe Marine Service. Head over to VolpeMarine.com. What's up, guys? I'm back on the boat, season 3. We are here in the marina. I am so excited to be back down in the harbor with my finger on the pulse of what's happening, and a lot of intel, a lot of things happening. We got out on, I told you, on Friday and Saturday we had a charter. We got out there, we got some fish. It was nice to get on the bass. We had guys that had traveled to come out with us. Then Monday I shot out with Frank, and while me and Frank are loading up to head down to the boat, Pat pulls into the parking lot just to check on things because his boat's going in sometime this week. And we were like, yo, you want to go out with us? And he's like, I got a doctor's appointment. And I was like, come out. We'll drop you back off. We don't mind. And you know when you have to take somebody out and come back in and drop them off, you know what's going to happen. You know how it is. But you know what? We love Pat, so we were like, we got to do it. So come on out with us, Pat. Me, Frank, and Pat headed out. And I had brought my Tony Maja braided rods so that I could pull some mojos. I didn't bring all my trolling rods because I didn't want to pull wire. I was just going out for a short bit. And we made one pass in the bay where I was getting them on Friday and Saturday, and in the one pass, nothing. Now, mind you, it took us a few hours on Friday and Saturday to get them, to get 4 of them, 2 slots and 2 overs. But I really wanted to head out with Frank into the Sound. That's what we were gearing up for that day. I wanted to go venture off into other areas just to look around and prospect and see what we're going to see where they are. I was just making sure I hit the record button. Like I said, unscripted, raw, live, right here on the boat. So we dropped Pat back off at the boat, and then me and Frank headed back out, and we ventured out to the Long Island Sound, where I saw the water temperature had dropped. Well, it didn't drop, but it just wasn't as warm, obviously, as it is in the back bay or in the bay. And we were fishing Friday, Saturday. We had 52 degrees. We had 51 degrees. And out in the Sound, it was 49 degrees. So we did see fish. We did mark some bass. There were guys chunking. There were guys trolling. I didn't see anybody hook up. In the time that we were out there, we did not catch anything on Monday. We started out, it was the beginning of the outgoing tide. But where we went in a different spot that we had fished usually, we saw some fish. And that's why there were other boats there. And that's what we were looking for. We were looking for signs of life. I'm getting really good intel. Guys are going out every day now. They're submitting pictures and videos and all kinds of fun stuff for the fishingleague.com. So the leaderboards are going to, there's a lot of photos coming in. It's really cool. Guys did wait towards the end of the month to get the videos in, which is kind of cool. That's a little strategic. But why we also made it that you can submit more than just 3 featured species. So you can catch 10 fish and submit all 10 fish. We're only going to take the 3 largest fish that you have for the leaderboard for the monthly featured species. But guys are waiting until the end of the month to submit their pictures because they didn't want anybody else to know what they had caught, which is pretty strategic and cool. I like that. Anyway, thefishingleague.com, you guys can check that out. If you haven't entered or registered a team, I would get over there and do that now because you could win May. Right? So there was only a few teams in for April anyway, and there were only a few submissions, and that's because even some of the most hardcore guys in my fishing club and in my marina don't have their boats in the water yet. Not everybody's in the water. So May, it's going to be a little more competitive, I can tell you that, because a lot of guys are going to be in there and get out and catch these bass. They're here. They are here. You got to look for them. You got to know what colors they're chewing on, which we will try to keep you in tune with here. With weekly videos, okay, because they were hitting white and chartreuse the other day. They were hitting the umbrella rigs and the mojos. I didn't see the guys chunking hook up, but that doesn't mean that they weren't going to hook up after we left. So I'm curious to see how they did. That would be pretty cool. But the fish were there. We did see them. They weren't stacked. It wasn't like we were like, oh, we're on them now. We could just drop floater spoons and drop down some jigs and go for them. They were scattered. So you really had to drive around looking for them. But we did find them, and that's a good sign. So Next trip, we'll be moving out a little further. I got guys going out tonight and going to reporting back and letting me know what they do, looking in certain areas. So we're all hitting different areas, which is kind of cool because we're sharing the intel and everybody's venturing off into different areas to look for them without having to travel too far. But the good news was we got them right in the bay right when we started, Friday and Saturday, so that was very cool. All right, so the weather, it's April. I tell people all the time, when I ran the Freedom Boat Club, every May, the season for them kicks off May 1st, and I would tell all of the members, you're lucky if you get 2 weeks of boating in May. You're lucky, weather-wise. Tow-wise, people are getting towed. I'll tell you that right now. It's unbelievable. Season started off with a bang. And you got your windows to pick. You got your weather windows, depending on the size of the boat. Some of you can get out in all kinds of conditions, like Eric. He can get out in anything. On the way back from the city when we were driving his boat back from Liberty Landing, that was one of the things we talked about. I was like, dude, you don't even have to look at the weather. This thing can go out in any weather. It's just a matter of whether you want to leave the dock or not, because, when it's blowing in the harbor and the current is ripping, it's not always fun getting back into your slip. You're not putting that thing on a mooring. Anyway, so we will be looking at the weather. Right down here, it's 8 to 10 south-southeast. It shifts. Guys, the wind shifts every day. Today it was east-southeast, and then now it's, south-southeast. So you got to keep an eye on it. Know what it's doing, know what the conditions are going to be like out there. We did have northeast winds the other day. Now, here's the thing. Monday, it was forecasted for 8 to 10 on northeast. We got out there. I'll play a video here for you. It was like a lake in the Long Island Sound. There wasn't a ripple in the water. I saw a cormorant, and we actually thought it was fish blowing up. And I hate when that happens, but it happens. I was already putting a super strike on. We were ready to throw into it. I was like, let's sit around and wait a second. I don't think that was a fish. I think I see some bird ripples over there, and it was a cormorant. Anyway, so, and that's another thing, having your rod set and ready and tied up to throw and be ready so you don't have to put that super strike on. But we had everything out and ready to put it on. It took a second. There's the TA clip is there, it's clip, going, throw. So it's not a big deal. But I like it when we have all the rods set up for floater spoons, for some vibes, for some throw-in super strikes and whatnot. They're all set up, ready to go. So when you do see it, you do get over them, you stop the boat, and boom, you can get on them. So I hope you think like that too. But here I am, down in the marina, starting to fill up. I see John's in. John's over here. Nice to see you back in, John. We got to get out together this year. This is the year that I fish with a lot of different people. Between the Bay Rats and Buoys Fishing Club and the podcast and the league and the boat show and the Ward Melville show and all the different guys that we sat with and spoke to, we're really collaborating with a lot of different people this year. And that's what's really cool, really is. Not to mention my boat's finally running the best it's ever run. We've changed sensors that probably haven't been changed or cleaned since 2003. Not my fault either, I'm the second owner. But I can tell you that now that they're changed, it's running like a top. I'm super excited. I'm one electrical step away from being, at 100% capacity where everything is running smooth, which I'm excited about. And, we always knock on wood and say, hey, you don't want to jinx it, but it's a boat. So the more maintenance and, the more upkeep you do on it and the way you take care of your boat, hopefully your boat takes care of you. But again, you got to be prepared when shit goes wrong and know what to do and know where you are when something does go wrong. You might have to drop anchor instantly, to avoid hitting some sort of rock structure here on the North Shore. You know what I mean? Depending on where you are. Like coming in past the lighthouse. Coming in past the lighthouse with an east wind and, your engine shuts off. You better drop your anchor and get it done fast. So we were coming in. Me and Frank were coming in, and there was a boat under tow. And that's what I got to say, having the Oakley Vanguards and meta glasses, you're recording stuff and nobody knows you're recording. So I have a video here. If I have it on the glasses, I'll pop it up. You can see these guys getting towed in, either a friend or a good Sam, but it's always good to see. somebody breaks down, somebody pulls over to help you and takes the time to get you back into the harbor here. And it's always good to see. So kudos to you guys for helping out. Great job. And we can't wait to get out there on a regular basis that you don't have to worry about the weather, and that's coming in, the end of May, Memorial Day weekend into June. That's when June we probably get our best weather, and I want to say we're probably like 8 to 10 days behind schedule of what the water temp, because last year on May 3rd, that would be this weekend. Okay. That would be this Sunday. The water temp in the Long Island Sound was 52 degrees. That's why you keep a captain's log. So you can look back at all this information and see where we're at and see where the bite was and see what was going on. So for me, that's really important, and keeping all that data so that and over the years how things cycle. And even with the bait, we're all wondering, are the bluefish coming this year? Are we going to see them like I saw them 8 years ago? In the back bays, just corralled bunker up against the bulkhead and just complete feeding frenzy where everybody was looking in the marina standing at the fence and watching everybody else snag a bunker and hook into a 20-pound bluefish, So let's see. I've learned from some salty guys about some of the old salty guys, the old salt of the sea, about the cycles and how everything happens in cycles. So I'm curious to see how it happens this year. What happens for us this year? Do we see bunker? Are we going to see bunker? We fished with more spot last year than we did bunker, And even when I come back and tell people, catch them all over the harbor. And a few years ago, I didn't even know what a croaker was. I never used croakers here on the North Shore. Never. We always used bunker. That was it. That's all we needed. And there was tons of it. In Centerport, there used to be a fish kill every year. You could walk across them. They were dead. They depleted all the oxygen level in the shallow water and killed themselves. And at least I think that's how it happened. But I'm no biologist, that's for sure. I'm just a fisherman. I'm just a captain. I'm just like you guys. I want to get out there and catch the fish. But we should have Captain Jacob on because he will tell you all about that stuff. And he was on episode 4, and he is due to come on. We're due to get out to the Peconic with him and talk about Davy Jones Shellfish Company. Excited about that. A lot of cool things happening. You'll see me on the Paddle Pub with Amanda soon. We're scheduling that. And Brandon from Causeway, all the great stuff that we're doing. I'm going to go out and see everybody this week because it's time to drop off the flyers for the Fishing League. You guys can get your teams in. You can still compete for May. You can compete for the whole season. Things are just starting. 2 weeks. You're 2 weeks into the season. You haven't missed anything. And so a lot of guys don't have their boats in the water yet. But doesn't mean you shouldn't register. Get a team in, pick your team name, go online, sign up, get in, and you can compete all season. If you win 1 month, that's it. You scored out. That's awesome. You'd be on the top of the leaderboard. And that's all that matters. The monthly featured species leaderboard. And then the accumulated points for the entire season would be on the divisional leaderboard. Okay? So there's going to be guys that fish now in April that are going to miss months, be away on vacation, and it's easy to catch up. So even if you miss a month, it still pays to be in the league for the entirety of the season. It's an all-season format. So that's what's really cool about it. It's not like a weekend tournament or a weekly tournament. It is monthly, a new species to fish for to make it competitive. And if you go to the website and check it out, all the FAQs are there. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email, a text, call us. We'll be happy to answer any of the questions that you have. But it is blowing up, and it's awesome. Very excited. TheFishingLeague.com is officially taking off. Teams are forming, entering, and scoring points and putting them on the leaderboard. The whole system is working. The point system is working with the submissions. It's absolutely exactly the way we planned it, and a lot of hard work went into it, guys. So hopefully you can enjoy it and compete all season long. You'll see the flyers in all the local delis and all the tackle shops. We're going to go around, get them out tonight and tomorrow. So what else is going on? I had my first hockey game of the season this week. My kids were excited to come. They're my biggest fans. They're the only fans in the stands, which is great. But I got to do my celly for them because I had a nice breakaway and got to score the first goal for the team for this new season. So that was fun. And, I'm all about racking up the points. That's what it's about. For me, it's out there. You got to rack up the points like I did in high school, But, so, yeah, I got a game Sunday night. Super excited about that. So if I could come out fishing every day and go play ice hockey 1 or 2 days a week, that's like the ultimate goal. I'm super stoked. To me, that's a ton of fun. And then, throw around the golf in there every once in a while. And then, you're living the dream life here on Long Island, for me at least. So, but right now it's all about being on the boat. I'm down here every day. There's stuff to clean and get this thing 100% purring and ready. So if you guys are anything like me, and I see some boats, I see submissions from, guys in the league. I saw it in my tournaments, and, you can't judge a book by the cover. I'll tell you that, So sometimes you see a nice boat and holy cow, they don't know about on-off. They don't know about magic erasers, and maybe they just don't have a scrub brush, So to each his own. Me, I like to keep my boat. I have guests come on, so I'm a charter. So I like when you get on my boat, they're like, wow, this place is really clean. It's really nice. And it's always a nice compliment. And let's keep those Google reviews coming in. Keep those 5-star reviews coming in. We're excited about that. We got 2 more from the past 2 trips. So, and Patrick, thanks for the email, man. Mark, I know you were supposed to come out with him. Your brother-in-law was in town from Michigan, but we managed to put him on the meat. You got fillets in your freezer. You did benefit from his fishing experience, and I appreciate you booking the charter. I'm sorry that you couldn't make it, due to some complications that life always throws at us. You know what I mean? So, like you said in the email, we will get you out there 100%. So we're excited about that. And, so here I am sitting in the wind. I'm done with the studio. I guess the only time I'll be in the studio now to do the podcast is if it's pouring rain for 2 days on a Wednesday and a Thursday, If it's going to be sunny that week on Tuesday, it's raining Wednesday and Thursday, I'll do the podcast on Tuesday. I have no problem with it, doing it early, especially this time of the year now. So I have no excuses. I'll be down here on the boat, and I'll show you guys all the gear we're using. Last week I held up and showed you some of the new stuff that we had recently purchased. Since then, I haven't purchased anything other than stuff that we've needed here on the boat. And captain of the kitchen, he came over down to the dock. He saw me and Frank here in the marina, came over to say hello. And he said, when you hold up something and tell us that it works, he goes out and buys it. So, that's just a testament to the sponsors throughout the times that have sponsored Bay Rats and Buoys, sponsoring the Fishing League and our Striped Bass Tournament, which is this year. It's a 2-day event, June 27th and 28th. All right, so you can head over to sandcitycharter.com. You could also get that at the stripedbassinvitational.com. So this year will be our 2nd annual Striped Bass Invitational. We got to outdo. I need more boats this year. Last year we had 20. This year I need more boats because I need you guys to tag more fish. This tournament is tagging and bragging. And last year we tagged 65 bass. And we're very proud of that. I can't wait to find it, when we get a call from Gray's Fish Tag, where the tag is, where it ended up, who caught it, and where they caught it. And hopefully they caught one of the overs that they had to, release it. So that'll be cool. But we're tagging a lot of fish. We're going to tag a lot of fish, me and Kory, this year. We're prepared. That's what I'm here today, organizing the tags and just everything on the boat so that we're, ready to roll. When something happens, boom. And that's it. Somebody broke a hockey stick at the rink and threw it into the stands, threw it out of the rink over the glass. And my kids went and retrieved it. And then after the game, I said to the guy that broke a stick, I'm like, yo, you want your broken stick? He's like, nah. I'm like, all right, because we're going to turn it into a fish gaff. So I got him in the back of the truck. Kory turns him into a really nice fish gaff for me. And I use him in the back of the pickup truck to be able to reach in and grab stuff. We put him on the boat, but I don't really need it if there's no bluefish. So that's the only thing you're really going to gaff is a bluefish. That's it. And that's if somebody's going to keep it. Other than that, I'm happy to release those things over the side of the boat. I really am. And some guys don't even like catching them. And a lot of people don't like eating them. But if you talk to Chef Rob, he'll teach you how to cook them. That's for sure. So one thing I am going to do in moving forward into next week is potentially go spearfishing for fluke. Okay, when fluke season opens up, the water is still cold. It's gin clear. I can get down there and see what's going on. So me and Chef Rob were talking. We're going to get out there and do a little spear fishing for fluke minute the season opens here into the clear water along the beaches. We know where they are. We know where to find them. They're stacked up. They're just laying there in the sun. So we'll go check it out. Hopefully I'll make some cool videos out of it. That's for sure. But in the meantime, it feels so good to be back on the boat. I am wearing a sweatshirt. It's like 65 degrees, blowing 8 miles an hour, south-southeast. Could I have wore a T-shirt? Yeah, but I'd probably be a little chilly down here. It's much more comfortable in the sweatshirt. And I wasn't even really prepared to do the podcast today. I had the equipment down here, so I was like, you know what, I'll do it. Sun's out. I'd rather sit in the sun. Tomorrow's going to be a cloudy day. It's going to rain. We got some rain coming. So I figured I'd get it done today. So you guys will have it up early. Check it out. Share it with some of your buddies. If you see the flyers in the delis and in the tackle shops, take a couple, hand them out to your friends. Let them know about the fishingleague.com. You guys can enter, register a team. You can register as a solo shore angler. You could register as a shore angling team if you want to put a team together of 2, 3, 4 people and fish from the shore. All right? And you're not limited to the North Shore, New York versus Connecticut. New York and Connecticut, fishing the Long Island Sound. We got the South Shore of Long Island, and we got the Jersey coast. Jersey's off to a good start, too. They got teams in, and these submissions are coming in to the website. I saw a whole bunch of submissions come in today, so I know people are waiting for the end of the month to put stuff in. So that's really exciting. I can't wait to check out the updates later on the site and see where the dice fall, where the chips fall. See what's happening. Only a couple days left to close out April. And here we are. Loving life. And I love you guys, our loyal listeners. I love you guys for tuning in. Everybody that joined the league, thank you. That is going to be an epic season. We are going to have so much fun competing for 8 months. We really are. If you missed April, don't worry. You didn't miss anything. You really didn't. We got out there on 2 trips and we caught 8 bass. Guys went out today. They caught fish. They're here. So if you can get out. Get on that boat and go. And if you don't have a boat and you're listening to the podcast and you want to get out and fish with me and Kory, head over to sandcitycharter.com, fill out the form, and we'll be happy to take you out and get you on some bass. And that's it. I'm going to send out an email tomorrow for the fishing club, so you guys will have another meeting. We'll get together. Hopefully you guys are fishing more now that we're all back in the water. And that's it. Episode 79, Season 3, on the boat. Coming to a close, guys. Captain Gaige signing off, over, and out.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. Be sure to visit sandcitycharter.com and follow Captain Gaige on all our social media channels.